I've gotten to a place where it doesn't really matter what people write or say, because it's only an instant of my life.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the controversial moments that shattered the world of TV.
I don't see a path for this family to come back from this. I don't see a path for redemption in the television world.
Number 50, Vivian Banks, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Now, I can see why you like Ice Tray. He's a lot of fun. Everything's a joke to him. School, work, people, he doesn't care about anything.
Yeah, well, he always managed to care about me.
Arguably the most infamous recast in TV sitcom history, this one saw Janet Hubert exit the role of Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air after 3 seasons. At the time, Hubert's departure was reported to be the result of a bitter feud with the series star Will Smith. It would take nearly 3 decades for the record to be set straight. During the Fresh Prince reunion special in 2020, Hubert and Smith settled the argument, and the former revealed that she was, in fact, not fired. Instead, she had rejected a bad deal by the producers, which would have prevented her from working anywhere else for 10 weeks.
I had a new baby and a husband who was out of work, so I said no. I did not accept their offer.
Rather than negotiate the contract, Hubert was replaced with Daphne Maxwell Reid.
I cannot believe that you and Carlton are moving into your own place. Seems like just yesterday when I was wiping the tears from his eyes.
Oh, no, that was yesterday, Aunt Viv. I told you that boy wasn't ready for Jurassic Park yet.
Number 49, Mark Schwann's sexual harassment allegations, One Tree Hill.
You know she's from Tree Hill?
Yeah, I know.
I take it you're not a fan.
This teen drama series was created and executive produced by Mark Schwann, who also wrote and directed several episodes. While the show ended on a high note in 2012, it wasn't until 5 years later that disturbing behind-the-scenes tales came to light. A former staff writer, Audrey Walkup, alleged on social media that she experienced sexual harassment from Schwann while working on the show.
Sometimes when you look for an actor, you know you know exactly what you want them to play, and you look for the person who can fill those shoes.
Her claims were later backed up by 18 female former cast and crew members who signed an open letter detailing additional allegations. According to these women, Schwann's behavior was, quote, an open secret and caused lasting emotional harm. Although he never officially addressed the allegations, Schwann was fired from his other show, The Royals.
For me as a director, I probably do a little more teaching. Obviously, the veterans that have been around the block, my job is to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Number 48, Spotlight on a Murderer, Bullseye. John Cooper didn't walk away from Bullseye a winner, but eventually his brief shot at glory was a major win for the British public. Unknown at the time, Cooper was already a 2-time murderer, having killed a brother and sister in 1985 and killing Peter and Gwenda Dixon a month after his game show strikeout.
They're using me to clear old crimes. It shouldn't be allowed. Shouldn't be allowed.
In 1998, Cooper was convicted of a string of robberies and served 10 years in prison. However, soon after his release, police investigated a murder cold case, which, through advanced forensic science, DNA, and his bullseye footage, they were able to pin on him. Cooper was arrested soon after and convicted in 2011.
This wasn't just a robbery for gain, it was an act of a psychopath.
Number 47, The Popsicle Twins, The Gong Show.
Here comes Have You Got a Nickel?
Easily one of the most bizarre moments on The Gong Show, the so-called Popsicle Twins were a duo of young women whose act was titled, Have You Got a Nickel? Their segment was initially only aired on the East Coast before being pulled, when it was noticed that the simple act of enjoying an ice lolly was a bit more suggestive than it first appeared. Score-wise, the act was a dud, with only J.P. Morgan picking up what the girls were laying down, and TV's clinger Jamie Farr awarding it a mere 2 points.
Jamie Farr.
I don't think they give a lick.
Number 46, The Heartbreaking Story of the Original Lori, That 70s Show. Lisa Robin Kelly played Eric's selfish, spoiled, and conniving big sister Lori on That 70s Show during the first 3 seasons.
Hello. Lori, what are you doing here?
I'm bored. There's nothing on TV.
After that, the character was nowhere to be seen, presumably busy with beauty school. But in reality, Kelly was struggling with addiction. Though on the surface she was an actress on a successful sitcom, things were complicated in her private life.
I see what's going on here. You're breaking up with me.
No. For me to break up with you, there would have to be something between us to break.
She briefly returned for season 5, but was eventually replaced, with Christina Moore becoming Lori. Unfortunately, Kelly's battle continued, and she was even arrested multiple times. In 2013, she tried to turn things around by checking into rehab, but she tragically passed away. Number 45, Lori Loughlin, Fuller House.
USA, starring Danny Tanner.
Well, really starring Rebecca Donaldson-Katsopoulos.
The college admission scandal involving actors like Lori Loughlin was a hot-button conversation back in 2019. Loughlin paid the University of Southern California a sizable bribe in return for her 2 daughters getting guaranteed spots at the school.
Loughlin and Gianelli accused of paying $500,000 to the scheme's mastermind, Rick Singer, to get their daughters into USC as fake rowing recruits.
She admitted guilt for her crime, ultimately spending 2 months in prison. Of course, this meant she wouldn't be returning to the reboot series Fuller House, in which she played the role of Aunt Becky. In the context of the show, the characters explained that Becky had to leave to take care of her mother.
Oh, and if you do speak to her, find out who colors her hair. She looks terrific.
Number 44, Steven Seagal, worst host ever, Saturday Night Live.
It's great to be here in New York, and it's great to be opening up Saturday Night Live. Most of you probably know me from my action-adventure films, Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, stuff like that.
Both Lorne Michaels and SNL alums have been pretty vocal about what a terrible host Steven Seagal was. It wasn't because of his performance, or at least not only that, but rather his inability to work with the cast.
I couldn't help overhearing what you guys were saying, you know?
Oh, you were so quiet, how long were you back there? We were just talking, that's just, yeah.
In the book Live from New York, The Complete Uncensored History of Saturday Night Live, several SNL alums spoke about Seagal's difficult behavior.
That makes me very nervous. People who see my daughter should have plans.
These include incidents where he pitched completely tasteless skits, including one where he'd play a therapist trying to have sex with Victoria Jackson instead of counseling her for her sexual assault. The actor has been permanently banned from the show.
And perhaps the most interesting, a picture of you listening to the President of the United States on speakerphone as he reveals his part in the conspiracy.
You'll never make this stick still. It won't hold up in court.
Oh, I think it will.
Number 43, a last-minute replacement makes a last-second change, Saturday Night Live.
Calling Mr. Oswald with the swastika tattoo, there is a vacancy waiting.
It's been an open secret that showrunner Lorne Michaels doesn't like a last-minute change. Well, that was especially evident when Elvis Costello performed for SNL in 1977. Filling in for the Sex Pistols, Costello was brought on to perform his newest hit, Less Than Zero. The only problem was Costello felt the song was irrelevant to American audiences, as it was conceived as an attack against English politician Oswald Mosley. And so, a few bars into the song, Costello halted the performance, vaguely apologized to the audience, and transitioned into radio. The English rock star would be banned from SNL for over a decade.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but there's just really no reason to do this song here tonight.
Number 42, Scandalous, Vanderpump Rules. Even people who had never seen Lisa Vanderpump's spin-off series seemed to know exactly what Scandalous was. The whole fallout was caught by a camera crew, and the scandal that rocked Vanderpump Rules was the talk of the reality TV sphere for months.
I don't know how it happened, it happened. We became really good friends. I was seeking something that I wasn't getting here. And that's selfish, that's really selfish.
Selfish is the nicest word you could use.
The breakdown of Tom Sandoval and Ariana Madix's relationship after Sandoval's affair with co-star Raquel Leviss went public was a real-life soap opera for the social media age. Everyone had an opinion. The scandal has yet to go away.
If Tom Sandoval were sitting in front of you right now, what would you say to him?
I curse the day you were born.
Leviss filed lawsuits against both Maddox and Sandoval nearly a year after it all went down. Number 41, Sherry Pie Disqualified, RuPaul's Drag Race. Season 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race saw Willem Belli's mysterious disqualification. And while it may have set the standard for Drag Race controversy, there was something a lot darker to come. Season 12 was rocked by a scandal so damaging, the show had to be re-edited to all but remove one competitor.
Hope you save room for dessert, because I brought pie.
One of the season's finalists, Sherry Pie, was accused of inappropriate conduct by several men. Sherry Pie was subsequently edited down from the final cut of the episodes, which was a feat considering she made it to the top 4. it cast a dark shadow over a season that didn't need one, as it was the first to air during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I don't want people to think that I don't take full responsibility for the pain that I've caused these people, especially these amazing relationships that I wish that I could fix.
Number 40, the murder of Jasmine Fiore. Megan Wants a Millionaire. Real estate investor Ryan Jenkins reportedly placed third on this dating show, but only 3 episodes aired. The day before VH1 pulled the plug, Jenkins was charged with the murder of his wife, Jasmine Fiore. The model's body was found in a suitcase, and she could only be identified by the serial number on her breast implants. Jenkins, however, never lived to stand trial. On August 23, 2009, he was found after having taken his own life in a Canadian hotel. A tragic end to an all-too-real and horrific story. Number 39, which came first, the Post-it or the Walkman? $1 Million Money Drop.
All right, the 3 possible answers.
Okay.
A, Macintosh computer.
Good at computers.
Okay. B,
Good at computers.
Sony Walkman.
Okay. Okay, I had one of those. I had one of those.
Post-it
All right,
note.
yeah, I do that every day.
When couples appear on game shows, networks are hoping for some relationship hijinks. And that is exactly what this show got, in the worst way possible. Gabe Okoye and Brittany Matey were well on their way to $1 million until the which came first question came up.
Which of these was sold in stores first? Talk it over.
Wow, this is hard.
This is really hard.
Because Post-it notes is like, I'm thinking Post-it notes or Walkman, and I don't think computer.
After bickering, Okoye went with the Post-it, and the couple watched as $800,000 fell through a trap door because they got the right answer.
Maybe it's okay. We still have more money.
Post-it notes first sold in 1980.
I knew it wasn't Post-it notes.
Though the show's research team had checked with 3M, Post-it's original parent company, a slight technicality meant their information was just plain wrong.
A mistake brought to light by viewers, launching an instant internet backlash against Fox, demanding the show pay up and posting the facts about Post-its online.
Cue the social media outrage, the show offering to bring the couple back, and then, well, the show was canceled after its debut season. Number 38. Brooke Shields' ex wasn't a Drake Ramore fan. Friends.
Hello.
It's Erica.
The stalker.
Never mind, it's open.
In season 2 of Friends, actress and model Brooke Shields played an unhinged fan named Erica who struggled to differentiate reality and fiction.
Drake, you are so talented. Let me see those hands. Oh, these hands, these beautiful hands. Oh, I could just eat them.
And apparently, she wasn't the only one.
How can you be here and there?
Because it's a television show.
According to Shields' memoir, her then-boyfriend, former tennis sensation Andre Agassi, was particularly peeved by the dinner scene where Erica licks Joey's hand. She wrote that he exited the set and told her she'd, quote, made him look like a fool before heading to his Vegas abode and destroying his trophies.
You told me I was the only one!
The actress spent 3 years replacing them, believing his kids might like to have them one day. The pair tied the knot in 1997, but ultimately got divorced. Number 37. Mark Salling possession of inappropriate material. Glee.
Question 3. What was the capital of the Austria-Hungarian Empire? Wait, that's not in the song.
The Fox musical series Glee had already completed its award-winning 6-season run when one of its stars became embroiled in a controversy. Mark Salling, known for his role as football player Noah Puckerman, was arrested in 2015 for possessing inappropriate material involving youth. Authorities would later discover over 50,000 of such explicit images on his computer and USB flash drives. This was particularly disturbing considering that Glee attracted a large audience of young fans given its high school setting.
My dad's a deadbeat, but I don't roll that way.
Weren't you fired for being a fast food fry later?
I've got my pool cleaning business.
We live in Ohio.
Salling ultimately pleaded guilty to criminal charges and was set to spend 4 to 7 years in jail. However, on January 30th, 2018, before he could face justice for his crimes, Salling decided to end his own life.
This morning, an officer on patrol saw his car and found his body.
We were not particularly looking for the vehicle, but they found the vehicle.
Number 36. Rosie O'Donnell versus Elizabeth Hasselbeck. The View. The View can sometimes feel like a daytime soap opera. Of all the scandals this talk show has endured over the years, the feud between co-hosts Rosie O'Donnell and Elizabeth Hasselbeck was perhaps the most notorious. The tension between the two reached its boiling point in 2007, when Hasselbeck referred to Iraq as, quote, America's enemy, prompting O'Donnell to argue that the Bush administration was truly at fault.
You just said our enemies in Iraq. Did Iraq attack us?
The liberal O'Donnell additionally criticized the media for their unflattering portrayal of her, claiming that they favored the conservative Hasselbeck.
Because here's how it gets spun in the media. Rosie, big, fat, lesbian, loud Rosie, attacks innocent, pure Christian Elizabeth. And I'm not doing it.
Following their heated argument, O'Donnell left the show, while Hasselbeck exited 5 years later. Number 35, Alec Baldwin's gay slur. Up Late with Alec Baldwin. Although Alec Baldwin is one of the most outspoken liberals in showbiz, his behavior hasn't always lived up to his professed ideals. In 2013, the Oscar-nominated actor landed in hot water when he allegedly directed a gay slur at a paparazzo. In due course, Baldwin was suspended from his late-night talk show for 2 weeks. While Baldwin initially claimed he was misquoted, he ultimately described his outburst in an apology as, quote, offensive and unacceptable. However, the damage was done, as Up Late with Alec Baldwin was canceled after only 5 episodes. It probably didn't help that Baldwin also made homophobic remarks towards reporter George Stark on Twitter. Number 34, Maury Povich's sexual harassment lawsuit. Maury Povich is no stranger to controversy, as many critics have accused his tabloid talk show of exploiting serious issues. Speaking of exploitation, a $100 million sex harassment lawsuit was filed against Povich and other members of his staff in 2006. The allegations stemmed from Bianca Nardi, a former producer of The Maury Povich Show, who claimed that the host and his workers had forced her to watch pornography and attempt to seduce married men at bars while being filmed. She additionally accused executive producer Paul Fallhaber of making her wear revealing outfits, and implied that Povich was having an affair with producer Donna Ingber. Despite this scandal, Povich remains on television and is still married to Connie Chung. Number 33, Elmo actor allegations. Sesame Street.
They normally don't look at me. They just look at me as like somebody that's carrying around their favorite friend. And that's really what it especially with kids, they keep their imagination, so.
Sesame Street can't seem to catch a break when it comes to controversies. In one instance, a controversy arose over celebrity guest Katy Perry's dress during a music video, causing the segment to be removed. In another, their YouTube channel got hacked, resulting in all of their videos being replaced with adult content. All parents really want is to make sure that their children are safe watching these shows, so when dangerous claims are made, it can cause panic. Kevin Clash, the actor behind the popular Sesame Street character Elmo, had several extremely serious allegations of sexual impropriety leveled against him in 2012. These claims garnered a lot of media attention, and despite the accusations eventually being legally dismissed, Clash left the series.
That's right, TV! We can watch the Phone Channel! Quit dancing, TV.
Number 32, The Hiring and Firing of Shane Gillis, Saturday Night Live.
Comic Shane Gillis out at SNL after just a few days amid a firestorm of criticism.
In hindsight, this was an embarrassment for both parties. On September 12, 2019, comedian and podcaster Shane Gillis was announced as a cast member for SNL's 45th season. However, he was fired 4 days later when clips revealed that the comedian had used racial and homophobic slurs on his podcast. For clarification, these were from 2018. Gillis tweeted an apology of sorts that same night, but the damage had been done. SNL didn't escape unscathed either, receiving criticism for not having done enough background research into their new hire.
Gillis issued an initial statement saying, "I'm happy to apologize to anyone who's actually offended by anything I said. I am trying to be the best comedian I can be, and sometimes that requires risks." Pablo Estore of ESPN's High Noon tweeting, "It was only a risk because you and your hack friend are dumb enough to record it."
Number 31, John Belushi refused sketches written by women, Saturday Night Live.
You look as sweet as you can be.
John Belushi is one of the most revered SNL cast members of the late 70s.
John Belushi!
But according to Jane Curtin, he was also unapologetically sexist behind the scenes. During her appearance on The Oprah Winfrey Show, she said that Belushi was one of several men who tried to sabotage the work of female writers.
Hey, waitress!
Curtin claimed that Belushi said that, quote, women are just fundamentally not funny, and that, quote, if a woman writer had written a piece for him, he'd half-ass it, quote, not reading it in his full voice. Never meet your heroes, kids. Number 30, blackmail attempt against David Letterman. Late Show with David Letterman. After a long, hard day, audiences would typically tune in to Late Show with David Letterman for a lighthearted laugh. The talk show took an uncomfortable turn in 2009, though, when Letterman confessed to having several sexual relationships with his female staffers. An extortionist had targeted Letterman, threatening to write a screenplay about the television host's affairs unless he coughed up $2 million.
And he seems to, in this packet, there seems to be quite a lot of terrible stuff he knows about.
Cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, Letterman wrote a fake check, and his blackmailer was arrested shortly after. While Letterman was met with some negative press following this shocking announcement, he eventually moved on from the scandal and hosted Late Show for 6 more years before retiring in 2015. Number 29, Oprah Winfrey versus James Frey, The Oprah Winfrey Show.
It's a radical departure, it's not a classic, and it is also not fiction.
James Frey hit the big time when his memoir, A Million Little Pieces, was selected for Oprah's book club in 2005. Chronicling Frey's history with alcohol and drug abuse, the book became a New York Times bestseller and a cultural sensation.
If I was going to write a book that was true and I was going to write a book that was honest, and I was going to have to write about myself in very, very negative ways.
Many readers felt cheated, however, when it was revealed that Frey had fabricated information in his supposed true account. This didn't reflect well on Oprah, who invited Frey onto her show to talk about the controversy. Oprah didn't let Frey off with a slap on the wrist, eventually getting him to confess that he had made up parts of the story. She also brought on publisher Nan Talese to set the record straight. Number 28, On-Set Misconduct, Arrested Development. Jeffrey Tambor was embroiled in sexual misconduct allegations from his other show, Transparent. And during a New York Times interview, the late Jessica Walter, who played Lucille Bluth on Arrested Development, shed light into his behavior on their show. She revealed that while he hadn't, quote, crossed that line, he had exhibited other aggressive behavior.
Verbally, yes, he harassed me, but he did apologize.
Although he had apologized, it's clear that she had been shaken by the encounter. This wasn't helped by her male co-stars making light of the situation and attempting to justify Tambor's actions.
And it is a breeding ground for atypical behavior, and certain people have certain processes.
That doesn't mean it's acceptable.
Jason Bateman was especially keen to defend his on-screen dad and was met with plenty of backlash. He ultimately took to Twitter to issue an apology for his insensitive response. Number 27, Jeff Garlin leaves the family, The Goldbergs. Jeff Garlin played ill-tempered patriarch Murray Goldberg until his sudden departure from the sitcom in 2021. Several reports of unprofessional and disrespectful behavior on set led to a lengthy HR investigation and Garlin's eventual exit.
That's way too advanced!
Too advanced!
Turn off the wipers, make a U, we're going home.
But he blamed it on his, quote, silliness being misinterpreted and, quote, political correctness stifling comedians. His disdain for the sitcom was no secret, and he reportedly addressed it during a stand-up set later on. His TV wife, Wendy McClendon-Covey, also implied in a tweet that he made his disinterest quite obvious. Still, since he left mid-season, the show persevered with a body double and editing magic to complete his scenes. However, that only made the elephant in the room even more glaringly obvious. Number 26, Joss Whedon workplace harassment allegations. Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel.
When you're known for creating a strong female character, people like to sort of put that in a box and say that's what you're going to do. What I like to do is create human characters.
The first domino to fall in the Joss Whedon controversy came in July 2020 when actor Ray Fisher accused Whedon of highly inappropriate behavior during filming of Justice League. Fisher's claims were corroborated by other actors who worked on the film, but it seems Whedon's alleged misconduct stretched back several years. Actress Charisma Carpenter, who appeared in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and its spin-off Angel, alleged that Whedon had repeatedly harassed her and, quote, abused his power.
He'll kill you if he gets a chance. You got that?
Jeez, we got it. Circle, angry, kill, kill, kill. Go to church already.
She was supported by some of her other co-stars, including Sarah Michelle Gellar herself. Since then, fans of the Buffyverse have admitted to seeing the shows in an entirely different light. Once symbols of female empowerment, now tainted by Hollywood's pervasive toxicity.
Is this love? Because maybe I knew it doesn't look that different.
What are you doing? Are you going like stalker boy on me now?
Number 25. Conan O'Brien versus Jay Leno, The Tonight Show. The original war for late night can be traced back to 1992, when Jay Leno became Johnny Carson's successor over David Letterman. This influenced Letterman to move from NBC to CBS, while Conan O'Brien was hired to fill the NBC late night time slot. History essentially repeated itself almost 2 decades later, when Leno exited The Tonight Show so O'Brien could assume his hosting duties. Unfortunately, O'Brien's ratings struggled, and the decision to give Leno a primetime talk show turned out to be a huge miscalculation. Since pushing back the schedule wasn't an option, O'Brien was given a $45 million payout, while Leno returned to The Tonight Show in 2010. Number 24. Nora Dunn boycotts the show, Saturday Night Live. Andrew Dice Clay was one of the most famous and infamous comedians of the 80s. His Dice Man persona and shock humor both sold out venues and incensed critics, who slammed his act as sexist, homophobic, and racist. When the comedian was scheduled to host Saturday Night Live on May 12, 1990, SNL's Nora Dunn decided to boycott the show.
Welcome to the Pat Stevens Show. I'm Pat Stevens. Before we meet our guest today, let's answer some letters from our viewers. Dear Pat, you're a former model. Thank you.
Musical guest Sinead O'Connor followed suit. The show went on as scheduled, with beefed-up security measures, but not without an angry audience, some of whom had to be forcibly removed.
Isn't that wonderful? I'm so proud.
Number 23. Angelique Disqualified, America's Next Top Model.
It turns out that after shooting was wrapped, our production team and the network learned information from Angelique that disqualifies her from the competition.
Tyra Banks' modeling competition has had its fair share of unfortunate, offensive, and downright cruel moments. But its All-Stars edition was clouded by controversy when competitor Angelique Preston was disqualified for unspecified reasons in the finale episode.
You know what, guys? We wish Angelique the best in all her future endeavors.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So are we ready to proceed with our final judging?
The aired finale saw Lisa D'Amato being named the winner. Preston would later come forward with the truth. Banks had originally awarded Preston the title in the 17th season, only to take it away once producers learned Preston had worked as an escort. This only came out when the contestant sued Banks, the producers, and the network.
So it was a stupid decision that I made, and then it came back to bite me with them decrowning me.
Her lawsuit didn't go far, but it did add to contemporary reappraisals of the show's harsh treatment of its rotating cast of young, impressionable, aspiring models. Number 22. Toxic workplace allegations, The Ellen DeGeneres Show.
I still want to be the 1 hour a day that people can go to escape and laugh. I want to continue to help all the people that we help every day. And I'm committed to making this the best season that we have ever had.
For years, Ellen DeGeneres projected an image of kindness that resonated across her various endeavors, particularly her eponymous daytime talk show. That image was irreparably shattered in 2020 when a group of former employees came forward, revealing a toxic work environment on set. DeGeneres, whose long-standing mantra had been to always, quote, be kind, took responsibility for the toxic culture on the show and apologized on air during the 18th season's premiere.
The truth is, I am that person that you see on TV. I am also a lot of other things. Sometimes I get sad, I get mad, I get anxious, I get frustrated, I get impatient.
But this gesture did little or nothing to repair the damage. Her once pristine reputation, and that of the series, had already suffered a major blow. Consequently, the following year, it was announced that the long-running daytime talk show would be coming to an end.
You surrounded me with so much love and so much support. You nurtured me, and you found a way to make me shine brighter than I could do it by myself.
Number 21. Kanye West has a meltdown, Saturday Night Live.
This prayer's for everybody that feels like they're not good enough. For everybody that said I'm sorry too many times.
Given his penchant for tantrums and tirades, it should be no surprise to see Kanye on this list. In 2018, Kanye made headlines with a political rant during SNL's credits about President Donald Trump, the, quote, liberal media, and his own presidential aspirations. But that wasn't his first meltdown on the show. In February 2016, he almost walked out moments before his performance because he didn't like the set. The notoriously egotistical rapper's meltdown got so bad that it took both Lorne Michaels and Kim Kardashian to calm him down. A short time later, audio clips of Kanye's tantrum surfaced, and needless to say, it was truly cringeworthy. Number 20. Allison Mack's involvement with NXIVM, Smallville.
Clark Kent is a football player and Lana Lang is a waitress.
What's the matter with that?
Nothing. I just want to click my heels and get back to reality.
Although it premiered on the relatively new network the WB, Smallville quickly garnered a dedicated fanbase among young adults, which thrust its main cast into the limelight. Among them was Allison Mack, who played Chloe Sullivan.
I think I may know what's gotten into Clark.
During her time on the show, Mack became involved with the self-improvement cult NXIVM, rising to a prominent position within the organization. Leveraging her fame from Smallville, Mack recruited several women into NXIVM, who were subsequently exploited in various forms. For her part, Mack pleaded guilty to racketeering charges and received a 3-year prison sentence. Consequently, her association with Smallville has cast a shadow over the show, causing hesitation among many who may want to revisit it.
I'm Allison, like I said earlier, and Bill is an actress. It wasn't until I came to this organization that I started to maybe discover that I was so much more than just an actress.
Number 19. Stephen Collins admits to sexual misconduct, Seventh Heaven.
Come on, we had to trust her with Robbie sometime.
No, we don't. I keep wanting to lock her up till she turns 21, but no.
For over a decade, Stephen Collins portrayed Reverend Eric Camden, a Protestant minister on the TV series Seventh Heaven. Through the show, Collins built a reputation as a wholesome and morally upright individual, but in real life, it seems he was the stark opposite. In 2014, an audio tape leaked to the press in which Collins discussed having inappropriate contact with minors in the past.
I don't know where they learned that stuff.
I can't imagine.
He later fully admitted to the claims in an interview with People magazine, noting that the incidents occurred in 1973, 1982, and 1994. These revelations directly contradicted the values espoused by the show, leaving many fans deeply troubled by the dissonance between Collins' on-screen persona and his real-life actions.
Tell us what happened.
Well, in 1973, there were 2 occasions when I exposed myself.
Number 18. Terrible Reality, Kid Nation.
Jimmy, come home.
Jimmy, why do you want to go home?
I'm really homesick.
There are reasons why there are stringent laws and regulations regarding children working in the film and television industry. Sure, it might make for exciting programming, but the aim isn't to scar them for life. The cash prize reality show Kid Nation sent a group of 40 children of various ages into the desert, challenging them to create a functioning society.
People are not going to eat off of this. I'm sick of this. I'm going to get every single person I see and I'm going to get them over here and they're going to do these dishes whether they like it or not.
The crew was informed to be involved as little as possible, allowing these vulnerable kids to experience genuinely distressing events. The disturbing premise resembles William Golding's novel Lord of the Flies, and audiences agreed. Unfortunately, the parents were apparently poorly informed regarding what was involved, and the backlash meant it only lasted 1 season.
What is this, like a Nazi regime? Why do you all fear so much?
That's hey!
Number 17. Phil Robertson's homophobic remarks, Duck Dynasty. Duck Dynasty patriarch Phil Robertson came under fire after a controversial GQ interview. He was quick to point out that he believes a relationship between same-sex people is sinful. His son Alan defended his views and went as far as comparing his dad to John the Baptist. He added that the public outcry hasn't changed who they are as a family. A&E decided to call off the initial suspension of Duck Dynasty and cited that the family apologized for the statements. Number 16. Chevy Chase, Community.
Pierce! We'll see you when we see you.
Apparently, it's well known around Hollywood that Chevy Chase is difficult to work with. The comedy legend also happens to be infamous for his outrageous behavior on film and television sets. Chase held the role of Pierce Hawthorne on Community up until the show's 5th season, in which Pierce was comically killed off.
I guess I knew Pierce was part of a weird futuristic cult, but I wasn't prepared for a funeral with so much beeping.
Chase was known to disagree with the show's creator Dan Harmon and his ideas and direction for the character. Cast and crew members expressed that he frequently used offensive and racist language with no remorse remorse whatsoever.
It's jealousy. I've said that to you before, but it's like, you can't really say that. Did you just say that writers writing anything negative is jealousy? Yeah, I did.
Number 15, Louis C.K. sexual misconduct allegations.
Well, sometimes I won't do it for like a week, but that's just so that when I do it again, it'll be way better.
When stand-up comedians develop series based on their lives, they often infuse them with real-life events. That was especially true for Louis C.K., who created, wrote, directed, and produced the FX series Louis, in which he portrayed a fictionalized version of himself. In 2017, C.K. and the show were plunged into a scandal when several women accused him of sexually inappropriate behavior. This revelation prompted a reassessment of his previous stand-up material, some of which seemed to overlap with the allegations.
Louis C.K. has a history, comedically, of frequently making jokes about masturbation and sexual assault. And he's normalizing sexually assaulting women and has a history of that.
Louis was ultimately canceled after C.K. admitted that the accusations were indeed true. Due to the striking parallels between the show and the comedian, many have found it challenging to separate the art from the artist.
There's things about me that if you knew them, you would be very disgusted.
I'm not disgusted with you. I'm concerned for you, maybe. But you're a good person.
Number 14, Jenny Jones guest gets murdered. The Jenny Jones Show.
Okay, you think about you have fantasies about him?
I've had a couple, yeah.
The Jenny Jones Show aired for over a decade, but it's actually best remembered for an episode that never even aired. Entitled Same-Sex Secret Crushes, the episode centered on a guest named Scott Amador, who, on the show, revealed his crush to an acquaintance named Jonathan Schmitz. 3 days after the episode was taped, Schmitz reportedly found a suggestive note from Amador. Schmitz subsequently purchased a shotgun, shot Amador 2 times in the chest, and alerted the authorities of the crime he had just committed. Having a history of mental illness, Schmitz was convicted of second-degree murder. Meanwhile, the Jenny Jones Show faced a wrongful death lawsuit and was forced to pay Amador's family $25 million. Number 13, the John and Kate saga. John and Kate +8.
It's not over yet, but I never had a clear picture of how it would end.
This TLC series showing the daily life of a family with a set of twins and a set of sextuplets was an instant hit. But in 2009, viewers were shocked when parents John and Kate announced they were separating. Things only got messier from there, as he insisted that his kids not be on the largely Johnless Kate +8.
Okay, here's the deal. It's spring break. We have fun things planned. If you don't...
No fun things.
Okay, goodbye.
He was also sued by the network for breach of contract after making other television appearances. In recent years, he said that almost none of the kids are in contact with him anymore. This show may have ended years ago, but the drama truly never stops with this family.
It's a different time for me in my life, only because one day they were in my house, and then the next day they're not. And you've been doing that for a long time, and you're known for doing that. And then all of a sudden they're not there anymore, and you're like, what am I going to do now?
Number 12. The dating game serial killer. The Dating Game.
Please welcome Rodney Alcala. Rod, welcome.
Rodney Alcala appeared as Bachelor number 1 on The Dating Game in 1978 and managed to charm his way through the show to win the date. A decision she would have soon come to regret, Cheryl Bradshaw thankfully didn't end up going through with it. As it turns out, Alcala had a terrifying criminal history involving multiple murders, kidnapping, and sexual assault, with his victims ranging from adult women to young girls.
Rodney Alcala was arrested on July 24th for the kidnap and murder of Robin Samsoe, but the struggle to prove it had only just begun.
Moving forward, the importance of doing extensive background checks on contestants cannot be overstated. They could be cheaters. They could be frauds. They could be Rodney Alcala. Number 11. Billy Bush fired from Today. Today. Just when it seemed like the 2016 U.S. presidential election couldn't get any crazier, a 2005 hot mic recording surfaced in which Republican candidate Donald Trump shared an offensive and potentially incriminating conversation with Access Hollywood host Billy Bush.
Grab him by the...
On a bus ride, Trump not only admitted that he tried and failed to seduce Nancy O'Dell, but also made some vulgar statements while discussing actress Ariane Zucker. The scandal took a drastic toll on Bush's public image, resulting in his termination from The Today Show. Meanwhile, Trump continued his campaign and was elected president almost a month later.
You don't get to say that.
Because I was there, and the last 14 months of my life, I've been dealing with it. You dealt with it for 14 minutes and went on to be the president.
Number 10. Josh Duggar's Crimes, 19 Kids and Counting, and Counting On.
Josh is our oldest. He married Anna, and they have our first grandchildren.
The biggest TLC scandal to date came about when the eldest Duggar child, Josh, was accused of mistreating girls, including some of his sisters, when he was a teenager. Naturally, this prompted the network to axe 19 Kids and Counting from its lineup. And the distressing story doesn't end there, as many more allegations have occurred since the show was called off. Duggar has also been accused of cheating on his wife, assaulting a woman, and possessing highly inappropriate materials featuring children. In late May of 2022, Duggar was sentenced to 12 and 7 months in prison for the latter crime, finally answering for his horrific actions. As you can imagine, Counting On was also canceled.
But the truth is that kids will make their own choices, and they will make their own decisions, even though you've taught them what's right and wrong.
Number 9. Jussie Smollett, Empire.
I am forever changed. And I don't subscribe to the idea that everything happens for a reason, but I do subscribe to the idea that we have the right and the responsibility to make something meaningful out of the things that happen to us, good and bad.
It all began on January 22nd of 2019 when Empire actor Jussie Smollett received a threatening letter with a suspicious powder later confirmed to be Tylenol. The following week, Smollett reported that he had been attacked by 2 men who doused a chemical over him and called him derogatory slurs.
But I fought back. They ran off. I didn't.
Investigators immediately got to work on what seemed to be a hate crime, but police eventually began to find loopholes in Smollett's story. It was later revealed that the actor had staged the incident with 2 men who had appeared as extras on the musical drama series, and it didn't take too long for producers to kick him off the roster.
Hey. Is that all a dream?
No, it wasn't a dream, Tori.
Number 8. Matt Lauer's sexual misconduct allegations. Today, in rapid succession, from Bill O'Reilly to Charlie Rose, media personalities were publicly accused of sexual harassment in 2017.
Have you done some soul searching? Have you done some self-reflection? And have you looked at the way you treated women that you think now or think about differently now than you did at the time?
However, the sexual misconduct allegations directed at Matt Lauer shocked audiences perhaps the most. A staple of The Today Show for almost 20 years, Lauer was abruptly fired after a female NBC employee accused him of sexually harassing her 3 years earlier.
And I'm heartbroken for the brave colleague who came forward to tell her story, and any other women who have their own stories to tell.
It became clear that this was unlikely to be an isolated incident, as more women came forward. In one instance, Lauer was accused of summoning a former employee to his office and sexually assaulting her behind a locked door. The fact that Lauer was such a beloved host only made this more disturbing.
What a great job we have.
Yeah.
Seriously, when you look, you realize all the things we get to do, and it has flown by.
Number 7. Danny Masterson, The Ranch.
My alarm system's connected to the police, and they give them the alert, if there's an intruder, so they're probably on the way right now.
The Netflix series The Ranch starred Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson, who played brothers operating a cattle ranch. However, leading into the 6th part of the show, Masterson was cut from the cast. This is due to a slew of assault charges that were pressed against the actor, which began in 2017.
Where's my brother?
The decision to eliminate Masterson from the cast isn't surprising considering the severity of the allegations made, which we'll let you investigate at your own discretion. He was also not asked to return for that 90s show as his character Stephen Hyde for these same reasons.
Masterson, who's 47 years old, could be 77 by the time he gets out of prison, if ever released at all. A long fall from grace for the ex-sitcom star.
Number 6. Kevin Spacey, House of Cards.
You have the most difficult job on earth. It would take a toll on any marriage. Which is why I'm urging you to reconsider your decision on the bridge.
It was the scandal that shook the TV world. Amidst the Me Too Hollywood wave, actor Anthony Rapp came forward with allegations that Kevin Spacey had assaulted him in 1986. In response, Spacey put out a statement claiming to not remember the incident, and weirdly decided to use the opportunity to come out as gay. This decision was seen by many as an attempt to deflect from Rapp's allegations and garner sympathy for himself. The misconduct halted production on the show's 6th and final season, season and led to massive rewrites. Spacey was fired from the production, and his character, Frank Underwood, was killed off.
My turn.
Number 5, the Puerto Rican episode, Seinfeld. Any fan who only became acquainted with Jerry and the gang through reruns might not even know that this season 9 episode exists. It depicts the group getting caught in traffic because of the Puerto Rican Day Parade celebrations.
No. It's the Puerto Rican Day Parade!
Oh, the city shuts down 5th Avenue. They never let anyone through.
And there was more than one problematic moment. The scene that understandably prompted the most outcry involved Kramer stomping on the Puerto Rican flag after accidentally setting it on fire.
Hola, Jerry! I'm into this Puerto Rican Day. The sight, the sound, the hot, spicy flavor of it all. It's caliente, Jerry!
The episode was heavily blasted for its harmful portrayal of Puerto Ricans and disrespectful flag use. Still, some of the actors and crew members refuted claims that it was offensive. Ultimately, NBC issued an apology, and the episode was removed from circulation for a few years. Number 4, Roseanne gets ousted from the Connors. Roseanne.
Dan!
What?
The sink's all backed up again.
I'll plunge it right after breakfast.
Fans of the sitcom's original run were excited to learn of its return in 2018. However, the bliss was short-lived, with the titular star sending out a racist tweet insulting Obama White House aide Valerie Jarrett. Following the backlash, she apologized and blamed the event on her medication. But the damage was already done. The show was canceled, she was fired, and several networks even pulled reruns.
Dad, will you tell her how stupid she's being?
That's never worked out for me.
Many of her co-stars tried to distance themselves from the controversy and moved on without her, creating the Connors spin-off.
Rosie needed painkillers. I had some, so I gave them to her.
So?
About a year later, Barr attempted to blame the fallout on her TV daughter Sarah Gilbert, who was openly critical of her actions. Number 3, One Man Down, 2.5 Men. We all remember Charlie Sheen's infamous 2011 interview.
Oh, I have one speed, I have one gear. Go!
How do you survive that?
Because I'm me.
Well, it was around that same time that he was let go from 2.5 Men. He was one of America's highest-paid television actors, starring in CBS's most popular sitcom.
Let's just keep this to ourselves.
Our little secret.
But after a number of scandals, battle with addiction, and a publicized falling out with Warner Brothers and co-creator Chuck Lorre, he was fired. Charlie Harper was killed off and replaced by Walden Schmidt, played by Ashton Kutcher.
I can't find any record of your brother's death.
You sure? Newspapers, obituaries?
According to the last Vanity card, Sheen could have returned for the series finale, but he and Lorre had very different ideas of how that might play out, so it never happened. Number 2, Bill Cosby's sexual assault cases, The Cosby Show.
All right, now this is something I will cherish the rest of my life. Now all of you, get out.
Millions around the world came to know and love Bill Cosby through his sitcom The Cosby Show. The series, which was celebrated as groundbreaking for its positive portrayal of an affluent African-American family, became deeply intertwined with Cosby's public persona.
Pop, pop, weasel.
However, beginning in late 2014, shocking revelations emerged that Cosby had sexually assaulted dozens of women over several decades. As a result, the image he had built as a beloved father figure and role model shattered, and The Cosby Show became tainted by association. In light of the allegations, the series was removed from syndication in many countries. Cosby may have evaded justice due to a legal technicality, but his crimes have forever altered the way his show is perceived and remembered.
We are here to announce today charges that have just been filed against William Henry Cosby.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Dan Schneider's legacy, Various.
I think more broadly, when you have a cult of personality in any work environment, inevitably, it's ripe for toxicity.
In 2018, Nickelodeon parted ways with one of their most prolific creators of all time. But despite his resume, odds are that Dan Schneider will only be remembered for the mountain of allegations levied against him. Many insiders have come out accusing Schneider of repeated sexual harassment.
For decades, Dan seemed like he was untouchable. But around 2017,
The internet videos around Dan really started gaining momentum.
This included former iCarly star Jeanette McCurdy, who spent a section of her memoir detailing her harrowing experiences with someone only referred to as the creator. Given the extent of the charges, many fans have also pointed to scenes in Schneider's work that have not aged well at all. As a result, it's unlikely Schneider or his legacy will ever recover.
How safe can any kids be in that environment if that's how the adult women are being treated behind the scenes?
Which TV scandal shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.